Well, I'm back from the dead. I got the flu last week, so have not trained in a long time. You probably still hear it in my voice a little bit, but I was out for the count for a while. I mean, it was probably 5 or 6 days, something like that. I don't know. But this was my first session back. This was a home session on Sunday, March 1st. This was a good session. It was later in the afternoon. I've been very hit or miss, more miss than anything else on these days at home. But this was a good day. Maybe it was just from sleeping for 5 or 6 days in a row. We got some heavy laterals here. I've talked about this before, but I got these from the late great John Meadows. Just taking heavy dumbbells and essentially doing partials with them. These were 35s. Normally I do 40, but this is, like I said, my first day back in a while. So things felt a little bit heavy. Bent over rear delt flies. Again, I've talked about this before, but went a really long time without doing any rear delt work. So trying to throw those back in. Again, I know like when people talk about economy of time, they're like, well, your rows are going to hit your rear delts. And that's true, but I don't know. If I have the time, then I'm going to leave no stone unturned. Develop those rear delts. Neutral grip pull-ups, still rehabbing my bicep. I think I'm more worried about it in my own head at this point. I don't really ever feel it very much. I feel like sometimes I feel like a little bit here or there, but for the most part, I think it's doing pretty well. So I had started to weight these a couple weeks ago or like a week ago or something, but then I got sick, so wanted to do body weight, didn't want to jump too far back in it. Continuing with my bench press clusters, I like these, speaking of, economy of time and just, trying to throw something different at these main movements for powerlifting. I really like these bench press clusters. Allows me to get in a large amount of work in a short amount of time. So still going to continue with those. I've been trying to master the weight. One thing I do almost not every Friday, but every Friday, Jim Windler has a live stream. And I don't listen to it on Fridays because I'm at work, but I listen to it in my car on YouTube. I just play it like a podcast. And, one thing he talks about, which I totally agree with, is mastering the weights. I think people get really obsessed with, and I've talked about this before, but it's worth repeating. People get really obsessed with, I got to add 5 pounds every session. And, when you have been training for a long time, that's just not in the cards. So, what Windler talks about is mastering the weights. So doing the same weights over and over and over again until they, don't feel like much anymore. So that's what I've really been doing with these cluster sets, is just doing 225 and just really hammering 225. One way that I like to get in more volume with that same load that I was using is going to these foam bench presses. Again, I don't want to continue the clusters because I'm going to get diminishing returns from it. But by adding the foam, shortens the range of motion, allows me to use my triceps a little bit more, which is an issue for me as far as my bench press goes, but allows me to still continue to use the same weight. So more volume equals mo better. Again, kind of still rehabbing the bicep here. I'm doing these semi-pronated bicep curls. I'm essentially trying to find bicep curls that challenge the tendon, but not as much as you would see in like a preacher curl or something like that. So that's why I'm doing these semi-pronated ones. I have my upper arm kind of slightly out in front of me, as you can see. So I still have a little bit of tension in the bottom. Nothing crazy, 20 pounds. I mean, again, we're just playing the long game with this bicep. Make sure I don't ever really hurt it the way that I did before, ever again. Rest pauses, again, economy of time here. I like these intensity techniques. Are these better than straight sets? No. Based on the evidence that we have, no. But based on time that I have, I like these. I like the pump. And you know what? Fuck it. It's fun. And I think, as I've talked about 1,000 times before, I think doing things that are fun in training allow you to put forth a little bit more effort, allow you to be consistent. So if that means sacrificing a little bit of gains, which I'm probably not even, but a little bit of gains to have some fun and enjoy myself a little bit, that's what I'm doing. So doing these rollbacks have been around forever, just timeless within Westside Barbell. So trying to bring those back. Pronated front raises. I'm actually using my daughter's 15-pound bar here. I know. So it says 35 pounds. That's not a typo. Bars 15. I got 10s on each side. Wanted to do a rest pause for this as well. Just blew up my shoulders. And this was the end of the session. And then after this, my daughter comes out. I think my daughter and I are going to do a powerlifting meet together at the end of June. My whole timeline has gotten blown up, which is totally fine. I was going to do bodybuilding and powerlifting a week apart. I still might do the powerlifting meet in March, but my daughter and I started talking about doing this meet together in June. So I may do both, or I may just do the June one, or I may just do the March one. Time will kind of tell. I'm not in any rush to do one thing or the other, but it would be really cool to do a powerlifting competition with my daughter. This was her first time doing a back squat. She's front squatted before. She has long femurs. She's young, so just been trying to give her things that she's good at and doesn't require like a huge amount of cognitive bandwidth from her. But she did awesome the first time back squatting. I was super, super impressed. Very, very happy with her. So it'll be exciting to see if we do this competition together in June. And then my son, he got his new bow and arrow, so I wanted to throw that out there. I will see you all later.